Welcome to the Resume Writing Workshop for the Career Development Center. First of all, let me encourage you to always bring a resume by the Career Development Center or submit it to the JBU job board. By doing either one of those, we'll check over your resume for you ahead of time, make sure that your grammar, punctuation, all the formatting is correct, and make sure that you've got an opportunity to present your best foot forward or present your best material to those employers as you are out there looking for good jobs and internships. But today I'm going to talk with you about the basics. These are things that we're going to check your resume for as they come through, and if you know how to do this well to begin with, you're going to be much more effective, and the process will go a whole lot smoother for you as you submit your resume through us as well. So for resume and cover letter writing, your heading is the most important piece at the top. It needs to have your name, current contact information, so current address, postal information, all those kinds of things. You need to make sure that your name is present at the top of your resume. If you're in a creative field like marketing or graphic design, you can be a little bit more creative with your format. But if you're in business or education or basically anything that's fairly functional in its nature, your resume needs to be very straightforward. Make sure that with your email address that your name is in your email address. I would really encourage you to find another email account that you're willing to check regularly, like Hotmail or Gmail. Make sure that your name contains the name of your email address, or the heading of your email address contains your first and last name, or as much of that as you can. I know some students are into a lot of hobbies or sports or other kinds of things, and their name reflects that. Also think about what your name is reflecting. We've had some students, one student had Lady Luck at hotmail.com was happened to be their name or their email. And again, at that point, it's really difficult for an employer to take that seriously. It's also not a professional email address to have. And so we would really encourage you to transition from your JBU account to a professional one that you're going to use from your time after JBU. Your email account will stay active for about 6 months after you graduate. So you do have some access, but again, as you're out there applying, sometimes it'll take an employer 6 months to get a hold of you. So please go get a good professional email address out there and utilize that in this process. Also, make sure that the employer knows when you're going to leave JBU. If you have your contact address as 2000 West University Street, that's great, but until what date are they able to reach you there? Again, if you're leaving for good at JBU and you're graduating, which we hope that you all will, the reality is after you're done here at JBU, they need to know how they can contact you if that email address and physical address is not useful any longer. Also, you need a visual page break underneath that contact. It helps the reader to know that this is the end of the contact information and here is the meat of your resume. This is one for Hire Me Soon. You can see that they've got their name incorporated within their email address, they've got their physical address, they've got their phone number. Also on the phone number, make sure that you call it. Test out your own voicemail, make sure it's professional. Make sure that it also has your first and last name. Legally, an employer cannot leave you a message unless your first and last name is a part of your voicemail address. It's a part of the Privacy Act. It's part of them knowing that they're contacting who they meant to contact for the job interview process. So please make sure that it says your first and last name, not beep. Please leave your name, number, and telephone number. This is 479-524, whatever it happens to be. But make sure that you say, you've reached Chris Confer. I'm unavailable to take your call right now. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Something that's professional with them as well. I had a roommate in college who said he wanted to make sure that everyone on the campus knew that his party was the place to come, and that every Friday night he had some kind of a party going. And I went to a private Christian liberal arts school, a lot like JBU, and his voicemail said, "Hey, what's up? Friday night, there's a rockin' party going on in our room. Free drinks, everyone's invited." And granted, it was a root beer party usually on those Friday nights. But the reality is that the employers didn't take him seriously. He was also applying for youth pastor jobs. And it was several months later that finally a senior pastor got a hold of him and said, "Man, do you understand what kind of a message that's communicating? I would not let you within a mile of our high school youth group because of the way that you present yourself in that voicemail." So again, think about what it is that you're communicating. Everything communicates something, and you want to make sure that you're communicating the correct things.